week or two ago, I shot the local high school football game. It was a homecoming here, and I photographed it with this monster. Okay, I actually used the 3Ti, and you know what? Even with that, the focusing on the 3Ti and all like that, no problem. Covered it just fine. It was a night football game under the lights. Worked fine. Took about 300-400 photographs. They loved them. They turned out great. Not a problem. I mean, this lens, I mean, what, you know, really, you know, the thing with Canon is the motor's in the lens, and it's really up to the camera's computer to be able to keep up with the lens, because, you know, I mean, the 70-200 2.8 L2, I mean, this lens is photographing the NFL. Okay, so I mean, I'd be surprised if it couldn't do it. And you know what? I stuck it on a 3Ti and it worked fine. The autofocus was fine. The high was shot up to 6400 ISO. It was great. So no problem at all. Well, it's going to be interesting because I don't have it out here, but this Friday night, a couple of days from, well, 4 days from now, we've got another football game coming up, and I'm going to shove the Tamron 70-200 2.8 on the K5. And I wanted to do that and shoot another night football game, same field. It's another home game. It's a, you know, so it's going to be an interesting test. 2 weeks ago I used 70-200 Canon. We all know, I'd be surprised if it couldn't do the job. It's my fault. 3Ti did really well. We're going to shove the Tamron on the K5 and see what we get. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what it's like. So here's the deal. Okay, I'll give you a little tip if you're shooting football. Alright? So you got this tripod collar on here. And the lens doesn't usually wrap around it, but you get this tripod collar on here. What you do is you put that on a monopod. What the monopod's for, not really so much for stability, just so you can have the lens, you don't have to hold the lens for the hour or 2 or 3 hours that a football game is. So you put the lens on the monopod, on the top of the monopod, and then when you want to go vertical, right, you just take the knob here and you spin the camera, okay? Now I don't have it on here right now, but so you spin the camera, right, and you're shooting your verticals, particularly soccer, right? So you'd have to be like this shooting. That's annoying. And now we understand what a vertical grip is for. It's for the shutter release, okay? Let's say we had the 70-200 on this Pentax. I've got the vertical grip on here. We rotate the tripod collar. Guess what? We could shoot all night just like this, looking through the viewfinder, right? That's how you do it. Monopod attached to the lens, vertical, battery grip. That's what a battery grip's for. That's the primary use I've found for a battery grip. Some people like having the extra battery for video. Yeah, that's fine. But, I mean, where you really need a battery grip is shooting sports vertical on a monopod with a lens with a tripod collar. That's what battery grips are for. That's how it works. So if you've always wondered, like, hey, I got this battery grip for my camera and it's really cool and it makes the camera bigger in the vertical release, and sometimes when I shoot vertical, but I don't really use it, I don't really get it. That's what it's for. Okay. So a little other business. Yeah, let's get back to Pentax. Where's the K5 2S? That's what I wanted to shoot at this football game. B&H had it up on the website that it was going to be in October 15th. And then October 15th came and went, and B&H said, now it's just available for pre-order. Okay. Pentax does that. They're supposed to release stuff and then the boat takes a long time or something. I don't know. It's pretty normal for Pentax. So they say, I mean, well, you know, by the end of the month, we'll get the K5 2S, and I'm looking forward to that. What I want to do is test the resolution against 5D Mark II. So I'm looking forward to K5 2S. I also want to, I kind of really wanted for the football game, I wanted to test the new autofocus. But we'll test the old autofocus. If the old autofocus can do it, I'm assuming the new autofocus is better, right? That's what they're saying, so it should be able to do it too. That's going to be an interesting test. Let's talk a little bit about Canon and Nikon too. Like, it's kind of weird what's developing here. So Nikon, let's take the Canon 6D and the Nikon D600. They're cameras that are just head-to-head competition. So Nikon announces the D600 at Photokina, I think, or close to it. They're in the stores. I saw them at Best Buy, 4 of them, up in Washington. They're for sale. I mean, they're back ordered on B&H, but they were out there. There are people out there that have D600s that are using them. I read a thing on their web preview the other night, last night, yesterday, whatever, this morning. The 6D is not going to be out until March of 2013. Okay. Where's the 1DX? That was announced back in March of this year, I think, or April. People are just trickling through now. So Canon is having a problem getting the product out there. We can argue, well, you know, on specifications and all this nonsense if Canon's competing, whatever, I don't know. I mean, you know, 22 megapixels is a heck of a lot of megapixels. 36 is nice, but you know, and you got to understand this. I switched from the D700, the Nikon D700. I was shooting D700, D300 with the 14 to 24, 24 to 70, 70 to 200 in 2008. And I switched because I wasn't getting the resolution I wanted in my prints. And Canon came out with a 5D Mark II with the 21 megapixels, and I wanted the extra megapixels. So that's when I switched over to Canon, was for those megapixels. And you know what? When I got the 5D Mark II, okay, yeah, I wish the autofocus was better, and I wish, you know, there was other things that was, you know, basically I wish the 5D Mark II was the 5D Mark III. So they addressed all the things I wanted in the 5D Mark II with the 5D Mark III. But one of the things I didn't want after the 5D Mark II, believe it or not, was more resolution. Believe it or not. Because when I got the 5D Mark II and I started printing prints to the sizes, you know, I'm talking, I print 16 by 24, occasionally 20 by 30, sometimes 24 by 36. The 5D Mark II was fine. I finally had the resolution. I looked at my prints and I said, yeah, this is it. This is what I want. So, you know, right now, here I am today in 2012, Nikon announces the D8. If Nikon announced the D800 in 2009, man, that would have been something else, right? Before I'd gone Canon. But too late now. Don't need it. I got the Canon. 21 megapixels, full frame. And the 5D Mark III, 22 megapixels. I mean, you know, I was working on an image the other night from Bryce Canyon. And by the time I had all my layers open, I mean, the image was up to like 600 megabytes. Okay? I don't care what kind of computer you got. That's a lot of megabytes for one image to manipulate in Photoshop. So if that had been a 36 megapixel image, right? I mean, come on, we're talking about 1 gigabyte. Seriously. I mean, it already was slow, and I got a decent, pretty fast Mac. So, and for why? I mean, I print to my largest size print, and I look at it and I say, that's what I want. That's it. That I don't want it. You know, it's good. That's it. It's not good enough. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. So what do I need more megapixels for? So, don't get me wrong, people at the D800s that have those megapixels and use them and love them, and it's awesome. That's great. But for me right now with the I mean, I'm happy with what I got. I'm happy with the 21, 22 megapixels. I mean, the D600 is more appealing to me than the D800 in terms of like 24 megapixels. You know, I know what 21 megapixels will do for me. We're there. I mean, you know, so it's doing what I need it to do. That's not a selling issue for me. So let's talk about that. So let's say I wanted to get a D800, right? So Nikon announces a D800 within a month or two, bang, they're out there. The D800E is still a little bit on back order. That's okay. That's, you know, I understand that. That's a pretty hot item and whatever. They're trying to catch up. But you know what? D800s are in stock. That's awesome. What about the left focusing issue? Where's the quality control? What's going on with that? I'd be nervous, right? But you know what? Okay, anybody can make a mistake. They're fixing it. That's great. You know what's bothering me about Nikon right now? I read a thing on By Tom where this guy was out photographing and he lost the knob on his tripod collar. It fell off. Okay, which is an interesting thing because you know what? On the Canon, it's captured. So anyway, on the Nikon, on the 7200, the guy lost his tripod collar knob. And he called up Nikon and said, you know, hey, I lost my tripod collar knob. I need a new one. It's a screw-on part. And Nikon has a new policy. They don't sell you parts. So they said to him, you got to send the lens in for evaluation. What's there to evaluate? The knob fell off. 186 bucks for the evaluation so they can screw the knob on. So they can tell you the knob fell off and screw it on. I mean, it's $10 part. $20 if they're gouging. That's kind of rough. So that makes me really nervous. I think it's ridiculous policy, and I think Nikon USA is out of their minds. But that's just, you know, so when people ask me, should I buy Nikon or Canon, I used to tell them it doesn't really make a difference. Whichever one you like, the better, because they're kind of the 6 of one, half dozen of another. You know what? Not really. If Nikon USA is pulling that kind of customer service, Canon doesn't do that to you. Okay? I mean, Canon will send you a knob. You know what? Pentax might send you the knob for free. Now, I know they don't make a 70-200, but there's reports of people losing stuff, and if you get the right guy in the office, he'll send you the stuff to fix it sometimes. So, you know, that's customer service. I mean, I've been hearing great things about Tamron. Tamron's customer service is supposed to be fantastic. Where like they've got 3 days or something to get it back to you or to call you or to whatever. I don't know, I'm making that up. So anyway, yeah, Canon and Nikon. Canon's having trouble getting product out the door, and Nikon USA is kind of just freaking out. I mean, they're you know, kind of like Pentax with their pricing on their lenses. So I also have a Tamron 17-50 2.8 coming. We're going to test that because we need an alternative to that 16-50. That's $1,500 bucks, right? And the Tamron 17-50 2.8 is $425 with the rebate right now, the $75 rebate. So I mean, if it's as sharp, I mean, you know, you can put up with a lot of hassle for saving $1,000 bucks. Not that much hassle. It still has to work, right? It has to be sharp. So anyway, that's it with Photo Universe. That's what's coming down the pike. Football game Friday night. Testing the Pentax K5 with the Tamron 70-200, and that's kind of up against. It's the same field, same lights, same team, different opponent, I guess. And you know, but instead of the 3TI Canon with the 70-200 2.8L, which granted, you know, T3i is kind of, you know, a little step below the K, is a big step below the K5. 70-200 2.8 is a big step above the Tamron. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. I ran up against the 4 GB limit on the camera, so okay. So that's what we're looking forward to, some testing going on. And when we get that K5 2S, we're gonna throw that out there and see what we come up with. Looking forward to that. So that's it with Photo Universe. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a good one. And you know, guys, if you have any questions, you know, videos you want to see, stuff you want my opinion on, if you do, put it in the comments. I do catch some of them. So I've been getting a lot of comments. Photo Universe is really kind of going bananas, which is awesome. I really appreciate the support. I'm glad you guys like listening to what I have to say. But what I'm tending to do is catching the comments on the latest videos I've uploaded. So if you post a comment on a video I made last year, like for, you know, maybe Thanksgiving after I wake up after my vegetarian turkey, I might read that. But you know, the newest comments, for the newest videos, I tend to check the first 10, 20 comments just because I want to see how, you know, if I really screwed up the video or whatever, how people are reacting to it. So that's it with Photo Universe. That's what's going on. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Have a good one. Thanks.